Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on our spine-chilling stories. Today, we're unraveling a tale that's as dark as it is mysterious. The story of Eugene Butler, a wealthy recluse with a horrifying secret. Alright, let's set the stage. Imagine a small, isolated farming community. A place where everyone knows everyone, yet secrets still manage to find a home. In the heart of this community lived Eugene Butler, a man of considerable wealth but also a man shrouded in mystery. His house, an imposing structure of wood and stone, stood alone amidst sprawling fields. It was as if the house itself wanted to be far away from the world, just like its owner. Eugene Butler was not your average wealthy man who socialized or flaunted his riches. No, he was a recluse, living miles away from the nearest neighbor. But his reclusiveness wasn't the only thing that set tongues wagging in the community. Eugene had peculiar habits that unsettled those who heard about them. Late-night walks around his property, strange noises emanating from his barn, and an uncanny interest in the occult. It was as if he was always on guard, protecting something or hiding something deeply disturbing. So, what was it? What was Eugene Butler so desperate to keep hidden? Was it merely the quirks of a man who valued his privacy? Or was it something far more sinister? As we delve deeper into this story, we'll unearth the chilling secret that Eugene Butler went to great lengths to keep buried. Let's dive right in. Picture this, a small, isolated farming community, the kind of place where the land stretches out for miles and the nearest neighbor is a long drive away. It's a place where the air is thick with the scent of freshly tilled soil and the nights are so dark you can see every star in the sky. In the midst of this rural solitude lived Eugene Butler, a man whose wealth was as abundant as the crops that surrounded his property. But Eugene was not just any wealthy farmer. He was an enigma, a man of peculiar habits and unsettling routines. He lived alone in a grand, almost foreboding, farmhouse that seemed to mirror his own reclusive nature. No family, no friends, just Eugene and his sprawling estate. It was as if he had built a fortress around himself, not just of bricks and mortar but of secrecy and isolation. Now, you might be wondering, what could a man like Eugene be hiding? Why would someone with so much to flaunt choose a life of such seclusion? Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And as we peel back the layers of this deeply intriguing individual, we'll find that the answer is far more chilling than you could ever imagine. Alright, let's get to know Eugene Butler a bit more, shall we? On the surface, Eugene was a man who had it all: wealth, land, and a life that many would envy. But if you scratch that surface, even just a little, you'd quickly realize that Eugene was far from your average farmer. He was a man shrouded in an air of mystery that was almost palpable. You see, Eugene was incredibly reclusive. We're talking about a man who had neighbors, yes, but they were more like distant figures on the horizon. And on the rare occasions when they did cross paths with him, Eugene was anything but social. He seemed anxious, uneasy, like a man who was perpetually looking over his shoulder as if expecting to see something or someone lurking in the shadows. It's as though Eugene was haunted, not by ghosts or supernatural entities, but by something deeply personal, something that gnawed at him from the inside out. His eyes held a kind of weariness, a heaviness that suggested a man burdened by more than just the day-to-day worries of running a farm. So, what was haunting Eugene Butler? What could make a man with so much to live for choose a life of such profound isolation? As we delve deeper into this enigmatic figure, we'll find that the answers are not only shocking but downright bone-chilling. Alright, folks, fasten your seatbelts because this is where the story takes a turn for the truly bizarre. You see, Eugene Butler wasn't just a recluse. He was a man plagued by something far more unsettling. He began claiming that he heard voices. Now, I'm not talking about the kind of voices one hears when they're deep in thought or daydreaming. No, these were voices that commanded his attention, voices that told him to do things, unspeakable things. Imagine living in a small community, already isolated, and then being further alienated because you're tormented by these malevolent whispers that only you can hear. It's the kind of thing that shakes you to your core, that makes you question your own sanity. And for Eugene, it became too much to bear. His increasingly erratic behavior didn't go unnoticed. Concerned and frankly, quite alarmed, the community decided that something had to be done. Eugene was eventually admitted to a mental hospital, a place where it was hoped he would find some sort of solace, some reprieve from the voices that tormented him. But let me tell you, this is far from the end of our story. Okay, so Eugene is now in the hospital, right? You'd think this is where he'd get the help he so desperately needed. But here's the kicker, his behavior became even more enigmatic. It's as if being in the hospital was a sanctuary for him, a place where he could finally escape whatever it was that haunted him back at his isolated farm. Now, the doctors were baffled. They ran tests, conducted interviews, and tried to delve into Eugene's psyche, but they hit a wall every time. It was like trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces. Was Eugene relieved to be away from the farm because he was running away from something? Or was it that the hospital environment somehow muted the voices that had been tormenting him? The medical staff was divided. Some thought Eugene was wrestling with immense guilt, as if he had done something so terrible that being in a hospital was his way of serving time for his own perceived sin. Others believed that he was genuinely disturbed, that his mind was a labyrinth of dark thoughts and unspeakable secrets. But no one could get to the bottom of it. Eugene remained an enigma, a puzzle that refused to be solved. And while he may have found some sort of twisted comfort within the hospital walls, the mystery of what led him there in the first place was far from resolved. All right, fasten your seatbelts because this is where the story takes a bone-chilling turn. Years have passed since Eugene was admitted to the hospital, and his farm had become the stuff of local legends. Kids would dare each other to go near it, and adults would gossip about what really happened there. But no one, and I mean no one, was prepared for what was about to be unearthed. Local authorities, acting on a tip, decided to search Eugene's property, and what they found was beyond horrifying. Beneath the floorboards of his house, in a crudely dug pit, were human remains, skulls, bones, fragments of clothing, all buried in a makeshift grave as if to hide them from the world. The air was thick with dread as investigators worked to identify the remains. Each bone pulled from the earth added another layer to the already perplexing mystery. Who were these people? Were they drifters, lured into Eugene's web of secrecy? Or were they people from the community who had mysteriously disappeared over the years? And the biggest question of all, what had Eugene done? Had the voices he claimed to hear driven him to commit these heinous acts? Or was there another explanation, something even more sinister that we can't even begin to fathom? The discovery sent shockwaves through the... Okay, let's delve deeper into the crime scene, because this part is truly unsettling. When authorities started mapping out where the bodies were buried on Eugene's farm, they noticed something that sent chills down their spines. The bodies weren't just haphazardly thrown into a hole. No, they were buried in a specific pattern, almost as if it was intentional, ritualistic even. Picture this. Aerial maps of the farm showed the burial sites forming a sort of geometric shape, like a twisted version of crop circle. It was as if Eugene had been following some sort of dark blueprint. This wasn't just a random act of violence. This was calculated, premeditated, and deeply disturbing. Investigators brought in experts on ritualistic behaviors and even consulted with religious scholars to try and decipher the pattern. Was Eugene part of some dark cult? Was he trying to summon something or communicate with an otherworldly entity? Or was this pattern a manifestation of his fractured mental state? The crime scene became a focal point for forensic experts, anthropologists, and even psychologists. Everyone was trying to decode the enigma that was Eugene Butler. But the more they dug, both literally and metaphorically, the more questions arose. The pattern of the burial sites seemed to defy any logical explanation, adding another layer of complexity to an already baffling case. So, what do you make of this? Was Eugene involved in some dark ritual? Or was this the act of a man so disturbed that even his crimes had a layer of madness to them? The crime scene leaves us with more questions than answers, and that's what makes this case so hauntingly captivating. Alright, folks, this is the part where we turn the spotlight on you. We've laid out the perplexing facts, the chilling discoveries, and the unanswered questions that surround Eugene Butler. Now, we want to hear your thoughts. What's your take on all of this? Could Eugene have been a victim of his own mind, tormented by voices that drove him to commit these horrifying acts? Or do you think there's something more calculated, more malevolent behind it all? Was he part of a dark cult? Or was he acting alone in his twisted endeavors? You see, theories have been swirling around this case for years. Some say Eugene was part of a secret society that required these acts as a form of initiation or ritual. Others argue that he was a deeply disturbed individual who acted on his own deranged impulses. And then there are those who believe that Eugene might have been under the influence of some external force, be it supernatural or otherwise, that compelled him to do what he did. So, what's your theory? Do you think Eugene was truly insane? Or is there a darker, more complex explanation for his actions? We're eager to hear your thoughts, so don't hold back. Leave your theories, speculations, and even wild guesses in the comments below. Let's try to unravel this enigma together, because sometimes the collective mind can see angles that a single perspective might miss. Remember, each comment brings us one step closer to perhaps understanding the incomprehensible. So, go ahead, let your theories fly. If this story has gripped you as much as it has me, then do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button and share this video far and wide. Let's not just keep this enigma to ourselves. Let's get everyone talking, debating, and maybe, just maybe, we can piece together the puzzle that is Eugene Butler's dark legacy. Your engagement not only supports the channel but also enriches the discussion, and who knows, together, we might stumble upon a revelation that has eluded us all. And there we have it, the unsettling and perplexing tale of Eugene Butler. It's stories like these that remind us that sometimes the real monsters aren't lurking in the shadows or hiding under our beds. No, sometimes they're walking among us, or even worse, they're within us. So, stay vigilant, stay curious, and most importantly, stay safe. Keep questioning the world around you, because the moment you stop is the moment you stop living. Thank you for joining me on this dark journey, and until we meet again, take care.